Now, moving on to Mag Runner Dark Pulse. It's a first-person puzzle adventure set in the year 2050. It's out on console, but we reviewed the PC version. An organisation known as Grukasper have set up a training facility to test potential young astronauts for their fancy new space program.
Today, Grukasper MagTech is proud to unveil our space exploration training facility.
This is one of those games which you can pretty much categorise as, if you liked Portal, you'll like this. The look and many of the basic gameplay concepts are very similar to Portal and Quantum Conundrum, although it does put its own unique twist on things.
You play as Dax, who with the help of his mutant mentor Gamaji is in the running for the space program.
Good luck, Dax.
Right. Stay focused.
The first few problems ease you nicely into the game's core mechanics. You're armed with a MagTech glove, which allows you to power other objects within the facility with different coloured charges, green or red. Magnetised objects with the same colour will attract, those with opposing colours will repel.
As you progress, you'll start to discover how stacking multiple magnetized objects will increase the strength of an opposing object's speed of repulsion, allowing you to send objects and yourself flying. Puzzles will involve platforms, catapults, careful timing, and again, many of the limitations and restrictions that Portal would place on you with the design of each environment.
I really liked the look of it. It was appropriately futuristic training facility-like, all stark and orderly, but they still kept it colourful and visually interesting. Although they haven't covered loading very stylishly.
Dax, where are you?
I don't have a clue.
That said, things take a very interesting turn when the real source of story inspiration is woven into the game.
7 souls who sealed the gate. 7 now in no wait.
Yes, and suddenly your cushy training experience gets invaded by an unknown force, and things start to go pretty pear-shaped and legitimately creepy. You become completely lost in what no longer appears to be the officially sanctioned training program, but instead the exposed, crumbling caverns of some early beta version that looks wholly unsafe.
I don't know what's happening here.
Not to mention there's some creepy fish monster on the loose.
Yes, fish monsters, demonic rituals, and then some rather unsettling references to none other than the almighty Cthulhu. Yes, before we had Slenderman, we had this terrifying creature. Cthulhu is a kind of octopus demon by author H.P. Lovecraft. From classic literature to video games, he's risen from the depths and he wants you for some reason. The story does become a little bit more complex as you and Gamaji work to uncover the secrets of your past and the reason for Cthulhu's appearance, not to mention those creepy minions that lurk in the watery depths.
I'm here, Dax. Where are you?
But let's not get too carried away, because Mag Runner does a lot to create this spooky atmosphere, but it's not a survival horror game or anything like that. At its core, it's about solving puzzles. The surrounding threat is there just to create a more story-driven atmosphere.
Yeah, and that's fine, because the puzzles are challenging and well designed. The system of magnets makes for a great set of physics, mostly involving platforms and catapults that allow you to go through loads of trial and error scenarios. Often you're required to locate and combine separate cubes into one mega cube that provides a different function. As the puzzles become more challenging, they mostly expand on the same basic principles, allowing your own skills to evolve as the problems get harder, which is nice.
Yeah, although I'd spend often half my time in a puzzle just trying to find some cleverly hidden puzzle piece. I just find that to be a cheap way to increase the challenge. I always prefer to have all of the tools I need to do the puzzle right there, and it's up to me to figure out more or less how I use them.
Yeah, that was a little bit annoying at times, although I don't mind a bit of a treasure hunt as long as it doesn't go on for ages. There's satisfaction in finding those cubes, particularly if they're high up on a ledge somewhere. My favourite part of the game, though, was when Gamaji introduced Newton.
Hey, it's Newton.
He's a little robot dog that acts as a kind of magnet anchor that you can just magnetise and move around and place wherever you need him, even allowing you to pull yourself along on a platform. This just opens up a whole new dimension of possibilities for your puzzle solving.
You can also toggle on and off a visual view of the magnetic field surrounding magnetized objects. While you don't really see a need for it initially, it comes in quite handy later on. It just helps you to keep track of which are the stronger magnetic fields that you can make use of to try and move yourself in and around the environment to get to the next area.
The controls are sharp and simple to use too, and I really appreciated the inclusion of a laser sight. It just allows you to be even more precise when firing a charge from a distance. So what did you think of Mag Runner overall, Badge?
Well, the more I progressed, the more excited I was to discover the truth behind the story, but despite its intriguing concept, I think it was also its biggest letdown. It's a big call to base your game's narrative around the classic Cthulhu, but then not to really put much Cthulhu in it is pretty disappointing.
Sadly, I have to agree. I mean, there's definitely something unsettling to it all, but it either needed to just stay there or delve into some more well-fleshed-out action.
This could be a trap, Dax. Be careful.
What are you giving it?
Well, in spite of my Cthulhu disappointment, fans of this genre will enjoy this because the gameplay is solid. So I'm giving it 7 out of 10 rubber chickens.
It's 7.5 from me. And now, here's Goose.